That
It,
was beautiful.
it was close. Rodrigo, my friend.
Oh, you found it. Nice.
I can open the blue. So, hi everybody. This is the Chase Raz Show, and I'm not the only Raz here. Rodrigo, A to Z, R-A-Z. Rodrigo, hi. How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's been a busy week, kind of just doing a lot of maintenance with a few of my devices, but getting ready to kind of just do a bit of production, chat a bit about crypto and everything that's been going on this past week. And there's been
Device
plenty.
maintenance. What type of device maintenance didn't you post something about having some new VPN
Yeah,
tool
so
thing?
I've
I'm
been
not letting
toying.
people use my IP. Didn't we talk about that before? Is that what you got
Yeah, we
in?
did. We did. So there is quite a bit of things that I've been testing out lately. Different protocols, different projects. One of them is Flux. It's basically a Web 3.0 decentralized service. Very very interested into that project. Don't want to get too much into it, but I basically set up a node for that protocol myself and just kind of tinkered around with it, seeing every single possible VPS.
You're brave.
Um,
You're brave.
yeah,
I'm not letting random people use my internet connection, and God knows what they do.
Oh, tell you what. So that one isn't the internet connection one. That the one
Oh,
that
okay.
we talked about there was DPN. So that's yeah, deeper network, which I
Oh,
literally got
okay.
yesterday. I literally got yesterday night. I plugged it in. Very very straightforward. That one, yes. Gonna see how it goes. I put a huge blacklist of a lot of like websites that naughty people like to go into. There's a lot of malicious malware stuff that we're able
Yeah.
to enable as well. So I just wanted to test it out. I'm letting it be in a very kind of like isolated system where I'm not going to touch it. Just want to see what happens and then go from there, kind of. And looking to make a video myself on it, so we'll see how it goes.
So
But yeah,
how is that one? Just to clarify, right? How is that thing monetized?
monetized. So basically for DPN, so it's a decentralized virtual private network where you can connect to all different types of tunnels. And as you know, with other VPNs, you enter through tunnels through different IP addresses, but they're usually through data centers, which have just one static IP addresses, which is quite easy to be blocked by certain websites. If they realize that this is a VPN data center. So the
Yeah.
way this works, why it's decentralized, is that people basically get these devices. Oh, I wish I had it
So
in my
this is
room.
this part of the so is this part of the deeper network?
Yeah, deeper network. That's right. This is the deeper
Okay.
network. That one.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up on share screen in just a moment.
Go for it.
Um,
Yes, please, please,
because
please, please.
I had no idea what this was prior to you mentioning it. So let me see if I can get this set up here.
Yeah, man. It's just it's a new little project. How to look
This one?
deeper. So yes, that's it. That's it. That's the one.
Okay.
That's the device. I've got the Deeper Connect Pico and the Deeper Connect Mini, testing them both out. Um, Currently got the Pico connected in my place, seeing how that works. It's a bit more of a portable, smaller device, which I kind of like. And then there's going to be a Mini, which is a bigger device, more suitable for those that have higher, let's say, download and upload speed demands. For, let's say, you Chase, you're live streaming, you need a lot of upload and download speed,
Woo.
don't you?
Yeah.
Or more so upload speed. So testing them both out, really, and it's very cool. It uses a lot of, yeah, there it is, smart routing and multi-routing, where you can basically decide on default. Let's say, how in a VPN you have to change multiple times. Okay, I'm in, I don't know, Germany, but I really want to access American Netflix. I change to the US. On this,
Right.
it actually does smart routing, where you just put in a domain, you put in where you want to be located, and you just go on the website, and it does it automatically for you since you've already set it up, which is quite cool. I'm testing it out. So I went on American Netflix. Don't tell my my ISP, but it's just a
We
pretty
won't tell
nifty
anybody.
device. No, 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 don't worry. And the monetization for it is basically for people using your device. So each device is basically a node, right?
Yeah.
And it connects peer to peer to different devices. And for people using your tunneling or shared bandwidth, you can earn credit points, which then equates to DPR. So you mine DPR depending on your credit score. Now you can either earn that organically through sharing or using bandwidth, or you just stake your own DPR tokens and you automatically have credit score. So I'm testing them both out, see how it goes.
Pretty cool. So I mean, there is some blockchain connection here. There's a token connection, right?
Yeah, it's a completely crypto project, crypto inspired
Good.
project.
Look, I'd never heard of it before you mentioned it the other day, and since you had posted on Twitter that you got the hardware in, I wanted to ask you about it here at the beginning.
Mm.
But just kind of to get back to the beginning of everything today, I'm so happy. What people didn't see behind the scenes was I had to cover my camera. I was so frantically looking around for my glow sticks today. We can't start without the blue glow stick.
Did you use the
Just
little
can't do it.
like camera holder thing again, like you did last time?
Yes, yes, I did. I did the manual. I did the manual one.
I could just see
So
you like sprinting around your room looking for the glow stick and everything.
that was pretty much it. I mean, I think you saw me swiveling in the chair a lot, but then had to get physical with it and move. So today is the 30th of March, 2022, and still in our soft launch phase, but I don't think that really matters right now. We have a really good show for everybody today. We're going to be talking a little bit about Zilliqa, a little bit about some bridge hacks, a little bit about quite a bit about some DeFi tools that Rodrigo wants to cover. But first and foremost, what about this Zilliqa rise in price? Look at this price action going on. Rodrigo, how have you been enjoying that?
Oh my god! I mean, I wish it was earlier. I had more Silica previously, but
Damn it, why can't it happen before you sell,
I
right?
know, yeah, no, but I'm so happy for me. Just first off, with the Zilliqa community, it being my very first cryptocurrency purchase, I have some. I don't want to be, but some level of emotional attachment to the token, and
Yeah.
just seeing all the sentiment being risen for Zilliqa, all the attention that it's deserved for so long, finally getting there. It's just nice to see, and then obviously the price action is just cherry on top.
Yeah, definitely. The price action's very nice. I will bring it back up on screen if anybody hasn't been paying attention. I'm just gonna go to, I guess, Coin Market Cap is a good book. This is one of my favorites. I know people have their favorites, right? Everybody's a little bit tribalistic. But here's the
I
great
did a
thing. I
bit
don't
of
even
both
have to search
myself.
for it. Zilliqa's on the first page again. So sorry
I
for
think
the
it's 58, isn't it, or something like that? The minimum.
well, we slipped a little bit this morning. So we're back down under Harmony One. If you view on,
Damn.
yeah, I know everyone was so happy, like, oh, Zill
It's
crossed.
above Harmony 1. Yeah, here we
Yeah,
go.
this though is really where Zilliqa was right in the pack. Not when it was up at top 30, but when it had stabilized somewhere. Forget the numbers for a moment. When it had stabilized with other projects, I think if you've been here a year or 2 years, it's not going to surprise you to see us around um, BitTorrent. BitTorrent is one we have a heavy correlation with if you're in Zilliqa.
Mhm.
Harmony, of course, we have a correlation with. I think the one that everyone was super happy about is remember the one that was, I mean, just almost one for one correlated for about a year period was um VChain.
VeChain, absolutely. Funnily enough, Zilliqa and VeChain were my both very first cryptos as well.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even know where VChain is now. I'm gonna.
it's 33 there, found it
Oh,
there.
they did pump back up. Okay.
They're getting there. They're getting there. Not follow the same amount of rise as Zilliqa, but it's definitely having some
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah, and to clarify, I'm not so worried about their market position. It was that Zilliqa passed them in price. So they used to be matched 1-to-1 in price for a very long time.
Mhm.
Uh, anyone in crypto for maybe the past year may not know that, but it's yeah. So it's definitely good to see this happening. What do you think's driving this?
Well, to be honest, it's a difficult one. There's obviously two different types of investors: investors that look into the news, or let's say three: investors that look into the news, investors that see everything that's happening throughout the ecosystem, and then there's other investors that look at technical analysis, look for signals and different type of buy and sell signals. I'm
Mhm.
a bit of a mixture of both. I like seeing both. I think it's worth seeing kind of each side of the coin, because there's decent price analysis doesn't necessarily, I guess, confirm the longevity of a project. So that's how I deal with my stuff. And so obviously this Metapolis hype, I think it's this potential, buy the news, or yeah, well,
Are
sell,
they are
buy
they
the
going
rumor.
to sell the product? Are they going to buy the news and then sell it later?
That's what I'm worried about. I don't know. Don't know about you.
That's what everybody's wondering. And look, there's a lot of speculation that this isn't retail driven, and I don't have a
I
crystal ball to know what this is. Like no
no.
amount of uh, corporate training, no amount of any of that. Being in the Fortune 100 can let me just magically have a crystal ball and see specifically what this is. But I do agree with a lot of people who say, this isn't really retail driven. It doesn't look retail driven. Retail doesn't typically do. If we take a look at the all view here, it just doesn't typically go like that. And the reason I'm pointing it out is when you see what's over here. right? This is what you typically see with more of a retail run up.
Absolutely.
Um, the straight shot up, that straight moonshot that so many people have been waiting for in Zilliqa for a very long time. Of course, when you zoom in, it's not completely straight up. But these types, they tend to be a little bit more institutional. They tend to be a little bit more behind the scenes. Somebody's moving into position,
Yeah. That's what
potentially
I
even
agree with
before an
as well
announcement.
myself. Absolutely.
I mean, there are some questions on whether there's going to be an announcement. I think a lot of people were expecting some information today, with the AMA that went on in Zilliqa's Discord about the metaverse. Really, nothing transpired there. Just kind of a rehash of what we already knew for about 10 minutes. But I think people are still waiting for April 2nd when Zilliqa has their Metapolis event in Miami. I don't know. Should we should we speculate on that or not? Like just leave it to see what happens.
I mean, I'm actually more than happy to kind of share a bit of a chart here real quick, just for a few minutes on
Yeah, go
Zilliqa
ahead.
myself, because I mean, obviously, plenty of people want to have an idea. Should I sell? Should I buy? What am I doing? Do I hold? So I put it there on the
I'd
green
love
room
to
if you
see
can
it.
see it there.
Let me get it going here. All right, now
There you
there
go.
we go.
Yeah,
Now we should be
perfect.
able to see it.
Yeah, perfect. So I've done a little bit of like a weekly chart there. So just to give some brief analysis points, so we can see this clear trend line being broken, this clear downtrend being broken right here into this godly weekly candle from Zilliqa. We see the could be institutional buying and everything. So this right here is already a good sign. It didn't look as insane on the daily. I mean, it did. I'm not gonna lie there, but it did. When I was first watching it, I only saw it was breaking around the 60 cents. I'm like, oh yes, it's broken trend. Oh my god, it's going higher. What the hell? It's at 9 cents. But basically, if you see on the weekly time frame, so the weekly time frame, a bit of a higher time frame, see these are a bit more key levels. We've reached the pivot point. So the pivot point is a very key level where we can see a potential reversal and see an upward trend movement. We already saw that from the first weekly close. We were just under the pivot, but we did touch it with that wick there. And then now with the weekly open, we're already above it. We're potentially pushing towards R1. So the first resistance line in R1 here, as well as the RSI now is being a bit just about being overbought on the weekly time frame. But as I said right here, still room to run on the monthly RSI. This does show a potential standard where we could still actually move a little bit higher, and it kind of does line around where the R1 is. Now, I obviously not going to try to sell any hopium. This is already insane movement. I do personally think, not financial advice, but I do personally think that it would just make sense to skim off some type of percentage of profits off the board. So where you at least reduce your risk in any potential pullback that might happen in the market, because we've already obviously seen Bitcoin go all the way to 47K and everything else. And just obviously it is natural for these things to do a bit of a kickback or retracement. So that's a bit of the technical analysis. See what we think for Zilliqa, but overall, it's looking great. I don't think we have anything to complain about with the current movement. What do you think?
So again, I'm on the business analysis side. The TA looks great here. My question on the TA side is, do you see any type of indication of, some type of sustained movement? Of course, not financial advice, but the general idea is like if you're a long-term holder, this is one of the moments you start taking some profits. The
Absolutely.
question becomes, I think, for really long-term holders who have seen prices from below 1 penny to over 25 cents, I think the question becomes, is this the dawn of a new era? Or um, is this a situation where, okay, we're going to go up maybe to ATH, and we might break ATH, but then we come back? Is there anything in the TA that would, give us that crystal ball ability? Or just like on the business side, if we know we're in a new era, but we don't necessarily know what the new normal is going to look like?
Well, see, obviously, I wish I had a crystal ball in a way, and obviously, technical analysis is just that sense of trying to make you predict a little bit better, see a bit more key signals as to this move up. Now, something I did on the daily, something that I think we can do better for just investors in general, is that we need to see some clear break signs. Now, the 8 and 21 EMA, which is the exponential moving average, is one of the key indicators, especially for the daily time frame, where if the 8 EMA crosses the 21 EMA on an upward trend, that usually is an early buy signal. You can see that right here, where the green line crossed the purple line. and we started seeing this, insane move upwards. So this
Right.
right here is one thing that we can have a look. Now, we can see that obviously this is an incredible movement. Obviously, the exponential moving averages move a little bit quicker, and that's why you can see it chasing its tail. Usually, we do see these sometimes touches each other as a bit of a support resistance line. Now, one thing I wanted to show here, I just took off the pivots because they can be a bit intrusive, and I know a lot of people don't like seeing a really complicated line, technical analysis. But if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, which has 4 key type of barriers, or let's say indicators. Okay, the weekly is looking a little bit better. Just wanted to see that real quick. Basically, if we have a look at this, there's one. I'm going to explain these as well. 1, 2, just about 3, and 4. 4 key indicators on the Ichimoku cloud saying that Zilliqa is a go. Obviously, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be potential for a retracement, but as of now, as of current, there is a decent indicator stating that Zilliqa is moving upwards. It has a good chance of continuing. Obviously, it already did. So that is one thing that you need to be aware of. But currently, you see this on here with the Ichimoku cloud. The lagging line is above the price. This lagging line right here is just basically this line here, or these price movements here, but 27 spaces back. We see the price above the cloud. The cloud is this red and this green line, which covers this nice little like color here. The price is above the cloud. The converging line is above the base line. So the blue is above the red. And now there's a green cloud emerging at the end. These 4 indicators is a very good indicator to kind of, it's more like it is a good prediction tool that kind of
Sounds
states.
ominous though. Green cloud. What's a green cloud? What
So
does that mean?
yeah, sorry, I kind of say this
Explain that. You're right. Explain that for those of us who aren't on the TA side. We're in business analysis or some other,
So
or just
these
hoping.
converging and baselines are just basically they're different types of moving averages that work together in congruence. I think this is actually a Japanese tool, a Japanese technical analysis tool. They have we call it base and converging line just for an easier way to kind of understand it, I guess. But these have very fancy names actually, and basically when
Very
these
intimidating names. It makes the rest of us go, "Ooh, I don't know shit."
absolutely, I don't want to make people scared or anything. I just want to kind of show in the sense of where with Zilliqa there is some good indicators showing already on technical analysis where.
Yeah.
But this has been showing already for quite a bit once this price has gone upwards. I mean, look at
I
this.
mean,
This is
you
already,
mentioned there may be some indication of being oversold at this point, and that would
yeah. Simply just look at the
that
daily.
would be common. I mean, I'm with that, right? From the business point of view, it's like, okay, well, even if for the people who are going to be complete, opium addicts, you can say, well, we're going to go up to this level or that level, and that's fine. I'm not saying we're not,
$1.
but after you have this type of shoot up, right, there's typically some type of retracement
Well,
before the next leg.
precisely, and I think obviously I understand why some people decide to hodl or whatnot as well because maybe they don't know enough or are intimidated by these things and they believe in it so much long term that they don't want to bounce in and out for the retracements and move upwards, right? So obviously this is just something to kind of show, take your profits sometimes. And I think it's no one cries or gets hurt from taking profits, and that's one thing I definitely want to stress. I'm not saying you need to sell everything; that's up to you. But in that sense, at least
There's
skim something off the top.
there's something that in the business circles that I run, and nothing to do with crypto, nothing to do with markets. I love that I've heard this. This is actually from the guys who run startups.com. I don't know them personally, but I bump into them every once in a while. I've talked to them. A client of mine was looking to get some funding, and we were working with one of their companies, which is a funding company. But the guys over at startup.com, they love to say this, like no founder, no business founder ever cried about leaving a little bit of money on the table when they couldn't exactly know the right value of their business when they sold, or they
Mm,
couldn't exactly predict the peak of the market if they're in real estate or something. And I think the same thing holds true. If it holds true in startups, if it holds true in real estate, if it holds true everywhere else, it pretty much holds true here. Let's say you took a little bit of profit. We're not talking about selling, right? If you took a little bit of profit, if that's part of your mission, if you're not purely long term, um, I think people feel a guilt over
mm.
taking some profits, right? They're told they shouldn't. And I'm not
I
here to
definitely
tell
do.
you you should, but nobody should be telling you shouldn't either. And
No,
so if you are going to take profits at that, at some particular time, one, don't feel any shame over it. And two, recognize that other industries, other fields beyond crypto, recognize that founders and investors, we really don't cry over that additional 10-cent push or 20-cent push or 50% gain that happens after. It's like, you know what? It could have gone in the other direction as well. And most people
precisely.
sleep
Yeah.
easy at night knowing I got out when it was right for me, or I took profits when it was right for me, or I bought in when it was right for me, or whatever the action is. You almost have to, push everybody aside and just say, I've got to do what I've got to do.
Yeah, perfect example is that I know someone literally just there that bought Zilliqa around the 4 cent line and rode this wave upwards and sold it at 7 cents. Obviously, he's missed a huge, incredible run, but he's also already been part of a huge, incredible run.
Right. He already got, well, it's just shy of 100%, right? So quick
Pretty
math would
much.
probably be somewhere
Yeah.
around the 75 to 80% range, depending on the specific point at which he bought in. So I mean, nobody's going to really cry over that. But what I think, just to keep some time here, what I think people might be crying over a little bit, and Rodrigo, I'll let you run point on this, is there was, to my understanding, a new bridge hack.
Yeah.
And if I got this one right, this one is yet again breaking records as now the largest hack. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. $625 million worth of ETH and USDC combined, which is mind blowing, to be honest. I do you recall the previous record? I actually don't
It
myself.
was it was with um the
Was it Bitfinex?
no, wasn't it the company that does the Zilliqa bridge?
Was it?
Yeah,
Can't even.
Poly.
Oh
I think it
yeah,
was
that's
Poly
right.
Network.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Don't really
I
remember
think
the
that I
figure, but
think that
yeah.
was there may have been one in between, but that's part of the sad state of this, right? We talk about it like, it's only been a few months. How many new records have there been? So this was 600 something million. Where did this happen? Where was this most recent?
So this was again through the Ronin bridge hack, right? I actually have a pretty great tweet here that kind of explains it to an extent here, which I'll share my screen now as soon as I just get this up here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, perfect. So Ronin, it says right here, Ronin is now on top of the crypto hack leaderboard. $625 million worth of ETH and USDC just got stolen from the Ronin bridge. Basically, it kind of goes in detail explaining how they managed to use a 51% attack of nodes. So basically, the Ronin hack had 9 validator bridge nodes, and they only needed 5 out of 9 access to those nodes to complete this attack, and that's essentially what they did. Meaning they were able to basically move and secure the funds by a set of the 9 secret keys, and having 9 of those secret keys, they got it, and that's how it was. And what surprised me in this hack as well, actually, was that developers only realized 6 days after the hack had happened that
That's what got
625.
me as I heard that is I saw a commentary of, wait a second, so it's almost a week and no one noticed?
It's for me, it was very shell shocking, and I guess this is something that's important for people because as well, there's so many projects that kind of state that they are the most secure, and they've moved through blockchain to be more secure. But just because it is through blockchain doesn't mean it's secure. They have to show that for proof, in a sense, right?
I don't know jack about the Ronin chain. What is the Ronin chain? I really know absolutely
So,
nothing. This is
I'm
this is because of Axie, right?
That's right. Yeah, basically the extent of my knowledge is that Ronin is this layer that's been used for the Axie Infinity play to earn game, and fortunately,
Well, that
it's
explains that. I'm not really doing a lot of P to E right now, like, zero, but so Axie Infinity.
yeah, same. I haven't used it. I've tried out different type of pay to ease, kind of from Gala Games more specifically, but Axie Infinity I know has been one of the most popular ones for sure. But Ronin
Giant,
Network,
and it's a shame to hear because I love the news. I love the media cycle that goes on around Axie Infinity, especially in giving job opportunities and income opportunities and residual opportunities to people in developing nations, third world nations, young folks who are at a disadvantage when it comes to being entrepreneurially networked. I love the stories that have come out. Of course, they're few and far between, right? The vast majority of people aren't sitting there making a living, but I've really enjoyed hearing about that. So it's a shame to hear that they were the target of 600. I have heard some claims, and I don't really have the background on the Ronin bridge to follow this up, but here's what I've heard, right? Like, and maybe you can clarify whether it's. I've heard that there are claims that it could even be some type of inside rug, but I don't know if that was angry people from the Axie Infinity world, or if that was just a bunch of nonsense that was being put out on social media. I never even followed up to try to get any verification on the claim.
Yeah, I'm on a similar boat. Obviously, I've heard some similar rumors as well, where it could have been an inside job. It was just, the founder itself or something per se. I've even heard stories that what was it? The person that managed to hack the 625 million worth of ETH and USDC, then straight away after successfully hacking the system, decided to short the Axie Infinity coin and supposedly got liquidated. But these are all rumors, I think, in the
Right, so we
sense.
don't have any. Yeah, we don't have any confirmation of
No,
that
so
type of
like
stuff.
I heard that, and I'll be honest, that would be hilarious if that actually happened. Obviously, not
I
hilarious.
mean,
People are losing money, but
right, not to, hilarious. I get what you mean. Hilarious in the sense of how really dumb would you have to be to steal $600 million and then
I mean,
give
it could
away
have
your
happened. It could have happened if you think about it. Steal six
give
hundred
away your
twenty-five million
pseudo
dollars.
yeah, give away your anonymity there and just be like, oh hey, I knew this
Here
was
I
coming.
am getting liquidated.
Right, because
But
you can
like,
tell there's a big difference between the people who only do that for, here's a couple $1,000 I'm going to short on this versus, you know what? I'm going all in.
I think it was more funny because in the sense of how they only managed to find the hack happen 6 days after. If that person actually did short, it actually could have happened, because no one realized it was hacked.
That's the sad part. All
Yeah,
right, Rodrigo, let's take our mid-show break here. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some DeFi tools. I'll be handing the floor over to you a little bit. We'll talk about some DeFi tools that people may not know that are out there that they want to get using if you want to optimize your DeFi. Of course, we'll be putting that not financial advice bar up throughout this entire episode and all episodes, but
very
we'll be.
important.
Yeah, exactly. It is very, very important. We'll be right back in just a bit, and we'll also get to the chat, and I'll let you know how you can potentially get your voice heard on this show in the future as well with some voicemails. So let's go to a quick break. Did we make it back?
We are back.
So
I
sorry to
think. I
everybody.
hope
Look,
so.
I've had time to make one of those videos, so I had to use it before the show and during the show. I'll make a few more and have, have different times as well based on our real needs. So, Rodrigo, we're
Hello.
talking about some DeFi tools today, and I'm really excited to learn what you've got here because I know I had to put a temporary pause on a lot of my trading and transactions and digging into new things because here in the United States, good old Uncle Sam wants his taxes paid. And I'm like, you know what? I can't keep creating this whole transaction log when I'm trying to go back through the past year's worth. So let's talk about some of the tools out there and what I'm missing and what a lot of us might want to know about to help us out in our DeFi journey.
Sounds great. Yeah. So, if we share my screen there, yeah, that's perfect. So, I've got quite a lot of tools actually here today. So, do let me know sometimes if you want to take a break from it. But the first one that we've got here today is one of the probably most underrated tools that some people may not know, which is called Dex Screener. Now, this is for decentralized exchange screeners, obviously, because we're talking about DeFi. This is something that I use myself on a daily basis to have a look at, new up and coming tokens, or even tokens that I just want to see at a real time basis. So what it does here is it shows you live time purchases. So if someone were to purchase or sell this token right now, we would be able to see it within a few seconds after the block has been completed. So we see, scrolling down here, there's plenty of sells and buys. I wish I chose a different token because it doesn't seem as active. So if I were to look up something, for example, if I look up strong here, it shows every single kind of decentralized exchanges tokens. Unfortunately, it doesn't have ZIL swap on here, or carb swap, or XCAD's Dex. I did have a look just before the stream, but they haven't actually added the Zilliqa ecosystem as of yet, but does have all of these other type of chains. So Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, the list goes on and on. So I do highly recommend this tool if you are just ever interested in looking at different tokens in the real-time price and you can't find the chart elsewhere. And more specifically, if you want to ensure that you are using the correct token address in the decentralized exchange, because you can see the buy and sells and the volume and everything else. Now, the market cap isn't that accurate, so just be careful of that. But this is one of my favorite tools for sure to use throughout the decentralized exchange experiences. So yeah, you can. It's the same as TradingView. You can use all different types of indicators. Go on the daily, go through the monthly, or not the monthly, the weekly, I guess, and all different types of sorts of things. So yeah, that's the first tool. I don't know if you've used this before, Chase.
So I haven't. I'm really interested to hear about this one. What do you find that you end up using this for as opposed to some of the other tools like TradingView and whatnot?
So this one again, it's definitely much more for decentralized tokens, especially for decentralized tokens that are launching, because generally TradingView or CoinMarketCap or even CoinGecko wouldn't have this until
Right.
days, weeks, or maybe even months after it's been
Right.
launched. So highly recommend this, especially if you're a DeFi gen. Have a look at this, but again, there's plenty of risk in that, so be
Yeah,
careful of that.
to get the nice cutting edge stuff though, it seems like this is a really good resource because it's what dexscreener.com, right?
Yeah, every single thing I'm going to be showing you does have a Twitter handle. So I'm sure if you just looked up Dex Screener, you'll be able to find the Twitter accounts there
Yeah,
for you.
I just want to make sure that everybody gets to the right place. There's so many scams out there and fake
That's
accounts.
true. To be fair, I should have definitely clarified that. So literally every single one of these, I do show you the main name, the name that I'm going to be spitting out through my mouth or through the top of the URL. If you were to go on Twitter and find the ones that are followed by, obviously don't just go off of following base, but go off of the legitimacy of how it looks like when you go through the Twitter page. Just double check, vet it, make sure it's the correct and real address, and go from there. So if you just looked up Dex Screener, you will find the correct one there. The next one I'm going to show you is DeFi Llama. It's another one where it kind of shows you all different types of total value locked throughout different protocols. Number one, as you can see right here, is Curve Finance, and it shows you all the chains it's available in, and it basically ranks them at the minute in the way that I've got it filtered in total value locked. You can see through all different types of blockchains again as well. So, for example, Terra. I know Chase, you love Terra, so I'm going to go on here real quick.
I love me some Terra. Hey, it does if it has Zilliqa, Terra, and Kronos, I am a happy man.
Tell you what, I think it's got Chronos. I think it's got Terra. I don't know. I need to double check, but I don't know if it's got Silica, which would make me sad. It's got
It's not
VeChain.
well, I mean, it's not that I'm actively in all of those right now, but those are 3 chains that I really love to watch. But you know what? Just to pause you for a second, what I like about this is I like information sources. And back in my corporate purchasing days, what we would do is we would use these surveys and we would try to identify who's in the market, right?
Mm,
Who
mhm.
are potential suppliers, who are all these types of things. And when I look at this tool, I love it because it's a really good discovery tool for figuring out when somebody says, "Hey, you know what? I'm new, let's say to the Harmony ecosystem, or I'm new to whatever. Where do I go to figure out the landscape?"
Precisely.
Rodrigo, it looks like you're taking us to a place right here that is a perfect candidate for that.
Honestly, before I found this tool, I was literally in the wild. I mean, we're all in the wild, wild west, just trying to figure out, is this a scam website or not? Do I want to interact with the smart contract or not? This right here
Right.
kind of gives you more legitimacy because you can see the amount of total value locked. You can see the amount of users. You can actually change this. Not sure. I can't remember how, but I know you can, where you can actually change it off of increasement of user base. I actually don't know if that's this tool, but it might be the next tool I'll show you. And I'll
I
just
think, look,
quickly.
that's a good idea for when you find that, just put it in a video, and then what we can do is we can have a whole bunch of fun promoting your YouTube channel and say everybody needs to go over there and see that, right? We don't. I
Appreciate
think
that.
that's yeah, because when you find that, that's sort of a how-to that I think some people might actually really be interested in. But
To
this tool, I mean, just eye-opening.
honestly, there's so many DeFi tools that I've been discovering. I think every month I find something. I swear to God, because this helps me regardless. Especially when you know what you said, Chase, trying to go through chain on chain on chain, because I don't want to limit myself in just one blockchain. I think there's plenty of discovery in every single blockchain.
Yeah.
And where do you start? DeFi Lama is a good start because look at
Yeah, I don't
that.
have
You
any
see all the
issue with
protocols.
people who are chain, specific. I know quite a few people who are Zilliqa only. I know quite a few people who are Ethereum only.
Mm,
But it is nice to hop around and learn a little bit about. And look, after what I mentioned before of doing the whole taxes thing and going through a year of transactions on multiple chains, I can see why people don't. Right? I can see why people just stick to one, especially if you are in a heavily regulated area. But do me one favor. Could you zoom in on the browser a little bit? Just
that's
zoom
fine.
maybe
Yeah,
like once
yeah,
or twice.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Uh,
That makes it so much easier to see, even though it's not quite the best layout like we'd want to see on our desktop. It's easier for streaming.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so do you use this primarily? Let me get your use of this for after you've been using it a little bit. For me, I think it's great for discovery. But
Mhm.
what are you specifically looking for when you come here? You're looking on a particular chain. Are you looking for where action is, activity is, yields? What's your use case?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the main things I definitely look at is total value locked. I think that gives me a good sense of how legitimate it is because if there's X amount of money, you'd presume that it is quite legitimate because who else would be throwing billions on a protocol that's a scam? Don't get me wrong, that has happened, but it's a pretty good tool that you can use your own intuition and your own type of common sense, I guess, to decide whether you want to give it a try or not. But it gives you plenty of. I definitely look at the total value locked method for sure because I think that is probably one of the most important situations. There's some really cool filters that you can have a look at. So if I click staking, it will only show you protocols that provide staking opportunities. Now, this is just one side of the DeFi llama situation. So you can even add portfolios, so you can make your own portfolio to keep track
Before you
of.
get there, does it and I'm serious when I ask this question, it sounds like I'm not, but I really am, and me laughing isn't helping. Does it have a counter of how many times the protocol has been hacked and the volume of the hack?
So those are tools that I will be showing you
Okay.
soon.
So
Not this one.
I'll just hold off on that, and we can
Yep.
go into the portfolio
Yeah.
thing.
So no, that's okay. So just want to show you that a little bit more. So there's portfolios, there's sensitive where tokenless protocols that may airdrop, which is quite cool. Because obviously I know there's plenty of airdrop hunters around in crypto. So honestly, this is the tool that I use the most for
I
just
used
having a
to,
look
and then
at.
Uncle Sam broke me.
With the new regulations for it, yeah, I'm screwed. I'm okay. But honestly, for
It's okay.
getting a start,
Save your airdrop. Save your airdrop. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need any more pain.
you're telling me this, and I already got an airdrop a second ago. I'm like, shit, there's more tax I need to pay.
Sorry, it's just that time of year. I'm sure people don't want to hear us talk about it. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they want
I
me
think
going on
it's
about it.
so long as they made money, they want to hear it. If they're in the red,
Right.
probably not.
Because
But
if yeah, it's the one you forget about, and then a year later you're like, oh my goodness. It was
no,
worth how much when they airdropped it?
that's what I mean. Like saying that the one I was showing you previously on the Dex Screener, Cow, was an airdrop. Funnily enough, and
Yeah.
that's why you can see on once the chart shows up on the chart why it went from all the way at the top here to just kind of being a falling knife and decaying slowly a little away is because plenty airdrops do this at the beginning. To be fair,
Yeah. That's a
but
normal airdrop flow, it seems like to me.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I sold somewhere here, so that was great.
Right? Yeah, hey, be a little bit more specific. Let's get those details. I wanna take a note here.
I'm all right. I'm gonna go
Call
to the
Rodrigo every time I get an airdrop and know when to sell.
no. Okay, so that's DeFi Llama there for you. I primarily use it to have a look at legitimate protocols, see the total value locked, and see what is available on different type of chains. So there you go. Now, DApp Radar is another one that I kind of a complement with DeFi Llama in a sense. DApp Radar more so helps with gamify implications. So if you were
Can
into
you zoom
Axie
this one
Infinity,
into for those of us who don't have, the
yes.
video because I don't have the
Sorry.
video full screened in front of me.
I'm wearing contacts so myself, so like I know it's quite tiny. I'm fine because I've got that, so it's all right. no, so yeah, DApp Radar is a pretty good tool again for those of you that's into pay to earn, into GameFi, and all these other situations. This is also the sense of where you can see user base. This is the one where I primarily try to see user base and volume to an extent. Uh, it, it did something new that's never happened to me previously, so sorry. Oh, it's probably because I've got it the wrong way
Yeah,
around.
it's because
But
I asked you to zoom in. It's my format a little bit different.
yeah, no, so this is a pretty cool
All
protocol
my
again.
fault.
It's all right, Chase. Don't worry about it. but what was I gonna say? So yeah, this is just a good app again that kind of shows you different types of gamify and play to earn games. Obviously, at the minute, I think the state of play to earn isn't the greatest. There's quite a lot of recycled protocols or not so much, I guess, let's say inspiration in the industry. But this is where you could have been early in certain situations like Axie Infinity. Don't get me wrong, Axie Infinity was a pretty good play previously. Now I'm not too sure because of the hack, but
Well,
these-
look, there are a lot of people who buy the hack, right? They buy the hack once the price impact is hit. I don't know if I may have done that once or twice. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory, but I've tried it at least.
it's funny that you mentioned that because I think I've done that some time ago, but I can't even remember with what hack it was. But
Who's at the top of
definitely
this list, by the way?
top of the list at the minute. I
Yeah,
had to look at it myself. It's called Splinterlands, which is like a card game, and it's going through a bit of a rough patch. You can see the balance at the minute is quite low.
I mean,
Some
this whole
pulls.
list, a good amount of this list looks like a quick way to lose a lot of money to me.
I
Right,
agree.
hold on,
So
hold on.
you
Let
got to
me
be
let me
careful.
put my not financial advice. Let me put my not financial advice thing. This list looks like a quick. I mean, except for Pancake Swap, right? Like
I
that's
mean,
that's
yeah,
fine, good for them.
Pancake Swap or
It
Axie Infinity or Trader Joe, stuff like
MM
that.
Finance
OpenSea.
was up there, looks good. Trader
Yeah,
Joe,
that's
but
what I mean.
a lot of that list, it's like, whoo, that's
Ooh.
the hot thing for the moment. But what number are they going to be in 2 weeks?
Well, that's what I mean. But I think it's worth looking at this tool anyways, just to have a look at all different type of categories. This is all categories that I'm looked at. We can go on marketplaces, which will probably have OpenSea or something as number one. It doesn't. Number three is OpenSea.
Number three, really?
Yeah, surprising. Well, again, this is something where you can have a look. Just because user base is the highest doesn't mean it's always the best again, because it also could just be bots. Plenty of bots are run on play to earn. So gotta be a bit careful with that. There's gambling. Definitely put the not financial advice ticker there. Again, DeFi. It's a cool little base again where you can have a look and play. I personally have never connected my wallet into this. I don't know if there's any implications with that. Just be careful.
Again, even here, look, all of these tools, and I'm sorry to be so monotone about them, is they're great for discovery, right? I've mentioned
Mhm.
before that I don't know anything about Ronin, but on this tool, I see Ronin right there at the top center of your screen as something that we can look through. And anything like this that provides quick at a glance information, and you can start to learn what's going on. You can start learning about their volumes, trends in that volume. Look, everything that I do in this space, I don't know about you, Rodrigo, but everything I do from trading to running, this show to all of it's connected, and it's all about information. Just how can I
Absolutely.
get most information I possibly can?
I frantically write notes and reminders with sticky notes as well to just keep on top of it. And obviously, these tools great immensely for these situations. So definitely keep a look at DApp Radar and DeFi Llama. Definitely DeFi Llama is my preferred one, but DApp Radar is a nice little complementary tool with that. Now, I'll move on to the next one there. But yeah, I'm really glad people are enjoying this here because obviously this is something that helped me so much, especially because when I first started crypto, I was so locked in and married into Zilliqa, which I love Zilliqa, still do, but I wanted to give it a try with other chains, and this was a good start with it to have a look at
Yeah,
what's
it's
there.
it's tou it's really tough to say, right? Um, there's a joke, and I won't out who these people are because they haven't given me permission to say this, so I'm gonna say it without saying who they are. Somebody gave a nice list to me and a few folks earlier today that basically said, "Look, once you understand these rules, crypto, it's a lot easier." And there were 3 rules. One is nobody buys a coin when it's low, only once it's pumped. 2, nobody has any patience, and 3, nobody cares about the tech. And you can see why I'm not attributing that to someone without their approval first. But that third point of but nobody cares about the tech. There are a good number of us, I believe, that are here for the tech, and we believe in a
Mhm.
lot of the tech. And what happens is you get into this tribalistic investor mindset of we both have as I say, we're from planet Zilliqa, if you will. But what that means is there's this like cultural expectation that I'm supposed to be Zill positive on every single thing. And Zilliqa could make a major blunder and I'm supposed to apologize for it, or right, you get where I'm going. And the same thing's
Yeah.
true with any other chain. It's Ethereum is that way. So it doesn't matter the dynamic of whether they're Zilliqa research, and a business, or whether it's Ethereum and it's wide open. That type of mindset exists predominantly through crypto. So for those of us who are here trying to stick together, if you will, and figure out the tech and how it integrates with other fields, how it integrates with everything from IoT to VR to whatever. I think it's really important to have these types of information flows. And so if you are really here for the tech, it becomes a can you really afford to not look at what's going on in other chains? And one of the key things we get over in Godzilla DeFi that we've talked about before, I don't know if I have a graphic for it. Have we talked about it and put it up on screen and all that?
Let's have a look, jog my
I
memory here.
I'll have to create one. But over in
Yeah.
Godzilla DeFi on Telegram, one of the top questions is, "Hey, I've been meaning to look at Terra or Avalanche or Phantom. How do I get into it?" And everyone there would love to talk about this, but at the same time, it's kind of like, "Oh, wow. We can just go click on these tools and find out sort of the lay of the land, if you will."
Mm. I mean, obviously, I'm glad you mentioned that. To be fair, because obviously now we can always just pin this post here. Look at DeFi Llama in that sense. This is how you start. But I appreciate everything that you mentioned. Actually, to be fair, because it is very much in that sense of the tribalism that we do fight right now in crypto. It is almost in the sense of like the patriotism of crypto in that sense. We want to stay in our land, and no one can touch our land. In a negative way, we have to stay in this land. End of story. Um,
How dare
and I
you
guess
say something negative against, the thing I'm heavily invested in and not following good financial advice.
my emotions. No.
Yes, yes, I put all my money in on I mortgaged the house for this thing, like, well, first of all, let's rewind a little bit. And you did what?
I just need to get you on record there. Can you say that again one more time, Chase?
No, no, no,
No.
I'm not gonna
Oh
say
god.
anything like that, but there are people who've done similar
Yeah.
things, like, people say, like, "I have my children's college fund on the line here," and it's like, "Well, let's not do that."
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. There can be good debt, but then I think that is falls easily into the category of bad debt. Let's be honest there.
Oh,
You
man,
can't
that could
be.
be a whole show. I mean, I remember, classes in university talking about good debt and bad debt, and I just want to reiterate, this is my personal view. I
Mm,
feel like that's only a conversation for businesses to have. Individuals, I'm firmly of the view that there is very little good debt, and it's typically when you're operating a business that the few exceptions occur. I know somebody in the crypto space right now who's doing that, took a little bit of debt, invested it all, and is already positive on all of it. But it
Mhm.
was a strategic decision after having everything else already taken care of. So I will default to that.
Well, yeah, no, to be fair, I do agree with you. I personally, myself, have not ever used any type of debt mechanisms, any loans or anything per se, because I'm the sensitive. I want to have some security. I'm not at that stage yet where I have everything secured and I'll be okay if it goes wrong. I'm with you there. You got to be smart. Obviously, there are some benefits with it, especially if you've got enough of an intuition with this space, or maybe you're a technical analysis wizard and you just know it's going to happen, so you just use that stuff. To each their own. Everyone has to decide their own risk assessment there. So yeah, obviously leveraging your kids or your house isn't one.
Yeah, don't don't go selling your kids future, college money or something. What else do you have for us here to get to a place where we can wrap in a little bit? Because I love these tools and I'd like to see another one or two of
Yeah.
them.
So I'm gonna go with Dune Analytics. Now this is a
Dune
bit
Analytics, this
more.
is a good one.
Yeah, Dune Analytics right here is again kind of how Chase was mentioning, data, information, all this stuff is king. This is another one where you can very much access this tool to find some precise information about maybe yourself or even protocols and how it works. Now, I don't know which one I want to necessarily show, but I personally use this one plenty for strong block nodes and just seeing about my kind of claims and the points of where I've compounded or other stuff like that myself. But listen, just go on here, go ahead and discover, have a bit of fun. There's so much to look. You can do Dex pool deep dives. You can see, what type of transactions, the volume, and all different types of trading fees that's kind of causing with all different chains. That's just one example. Chase, have you got one yourself that you maybe want to mention on off of Dune
No,
Analytics?
but with Dune, I've used Dune before, and it really, I almost want to make myself feel a little bit better here. And I don't know if anybody else can jump on board with me, but I want to ask you.
Mm,
For me, Dune is one of those types of tools that I use more when I'm looking at something in particular and want to go into a deeper analysis of it. I don't necessarily use it so much, and again, this is personal. I don't necessarily use it so much like I might use DeFi Llama or one of the others to get an environmental, kind of like a situation analysis. I
mhm.
very much use Dune to deep dive into a particular thing. Do you find yourself doing the same thing, or
Yeah.
am I just completely a loner on that?
Bang on for me. That's exactly what I do. I wish there's someone in the comments that says, "Well, you guys are idiots. There's so much more to do." But no,
Yeah,
I
tell us when
personally,
we're idiots because we learn from, well, I mean, maybe not call us idiots, but we learn from it when we're doing something in a way that other people
yeah.
don't. We can all learn from that.
I mean,
Um,
simply, these are so many tools and so many different implications. There's no way that we can cover it all or know it all. So I want to be heard. That I mean, I don't want people to call me an idiot, but I want people to tell me that I'm wrong or something at least at
so
times.
any let me ask this question. Any other tools that you want to bring up?
Yes. So
Because I
the
think
one
you
that you
have
kind of mentioned, DeFi safety and rug duck. This is a way where you can
Rug
see
Doc, yeah.
smart contracts where how you mentioned, oh, okay, we want to go into this protocol or this type of staking protocol. Have a look at rug duck or DeFi safety. See if they're on there, because you can have a look at the high risk or if there's any risk at all. Because obviously if you're in it for the tech, but you don't know anything about the tech, this is one way to kind of vet and safe bet yourself where you're not going to be scammed, rug pulled, honeypot, baited into, or anything of the sort. So do use this. Have a look at it. They make it in a very more digestible way for us people that aren't as tech savvy or whatnot. I consider myself tech savvy, but not that tech savvy. Let's just say. uh,
Yeah, and I saw one up there called Murica Money or something like that, and it was, of course, high risk. It's a little bit below the fold there, and I could have told you that one was high risk just by the name of it.
I mean, I think we've got it right there. Let me just zoom in for the people.
But I mean, therein comes lies a question. Because I think that was your last tool, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a few others, but realistically, these I doesn't. It's not that important for the majority of people. It's for people that want to stay anonymous. I want to show some
Oh,
other
wait,
ones like
let's go into this because I think a lot of people do.
yeah. So all right, let's go. So right here, let me just close this there. Staying anonymous on chain. So obviously, some people I think primarily know about Tornado Cash on Ethereum. This is the predominant
Yeah.
one that's used by regular people, by criminals, all sorts. That is one
All
way to
sorts
stay
of people.
yeah, exactly. This is one way to kind of stay anonymous on chain, have no ties back into your name, because obviously, if you bring money in from a KYC'd um, centralized exchange and you don't want people to know because maybe you're this figure or that figure, or you just simply want to have more privacy, use these applications, especially for Ethereum, especially for Bitcoin, and another Bitcoin fiat onboarding one there myself. I wish there's more. These are the only ones that I'm aware of personally. But if there's, I think
Uh,
Carbon is using one for Silica soon called Black
yeah.
Hole.
Carbon Labs has one. I'm not sure if it's fully up and running yet or not. I'll have to check in with Adam from Carbon Labs. They're kind of busy right now with CarbSwap launching, and they've had a couple of glitches there.
Hmm.
But I love the use case you put for this with Tornado Cash, because so many people just think it's criminal activity or it's trying to hide. But you
No,
created a really good point where sometimes you're trying to preserve your anonymity, even if it's artificial. And so if somebody can trace back to the centralized exchange you came in on, which almost all of us are coming on some centralized exchange or another, then your identity is at risk. It's not like you're necessarily trying to hide anything from Big Brother, so to speak. It's sometimes from other people on chain that you may be transacting with that just don't need to know who you are.
I think it's also worth, especially if you're trying to avoid any type of personal attacks. At the end of the day, there's hackers and there's different ways that's being come up with every time. Maybe next thing you know, there's an exploit that you don't even know about, and they're going to target you because XYZ written.
Right. Right. Right.
So right
Always
then and
check your
there.
wallets.
Exactly. So that's kind of the main one that I want to show you. And the last one was kind of more privacy again orientated, where it talks about Brave. I don't know if I personally use Brave. You can see the lion head right there itself. And there's a few other ones that I want to show just to kind of have a bit more security and let's say cleansed hands for the, so to speak, for the people in crypto. Because I know security hygiene is extremely important.
I like
For
this, and I like that it steps outside of crypto, which is one of our goals here, is to not be explicitly and exclusively crypto. We're
yeah.
talking about Proton Mail, talking about Brave, even though there's a crypto connection there with Brave and the attention token. But um, I like this idea of, I think, when we talk about these security aspects, could be a whole show there, everything from VPN to I even have an anonymous email address creator, various other tools like that. Some of these tools are just so common sense. However, when we really get into the nitty gritty of it, people who aren't using them, it's not like they're ignorant. It's not like they're not smart. They're very bright people. And it's difficult. It's difficult to stay up on the security approach. So I think that's a really good, um, add-on, is that, look, we could all benefit from better tools, because it's not that we're dumb. You're adopting a cutting edge technology that's very hard to get your head around for a lot of people. So we know you're smart if you're here for the most part. It's don't feel alone, right? That we all
Mhm.
struggle with the security side of it, because it's just that challenging and that complex and nuanced.
Man, I when I started, I didn't even know what a hardware wallet was. I think actually 6 months into me using hot wallets, I'm like, "Oh shit, I should use a hard wallet," you know? Or, all different type of password things, even using an open source password manager. I never used the password manager before. Now I do. It's all these
Right.
things, you gotta be exposed by it. It's like obviously people start off maybe ignorant in a sense, but it's innocent ignorance. It's not your fault or whatever else. These are just platforms where we're trying to help out each other to kind of get that education or understanding more of the space that we're in, because it is so much to get into. So many hours has been spent looking into different devices or projects or security mechanisms or XYZ. Don't worry, it's gonna take a lot of time. It did for me. I'm sure it happened for Chase as well, and it's gonna continue to do that. So
I'm
this is
still figuring out step one.
I
So,
forgot my
so
password already.
right. Look, it is a big jump to start to trust password managers. I remember taking that jump the first time.
Yeah.
It was hard. We have dexscreener.com, defilama.com, Diap Radar, dune.xyz, that's dune.xyz, and then rugdoc, which I think a lot of people have probably heard of if they're not a user of it. And Rodrigo, I think that's all the time we're going to have for this particular episode.
Yeah.
Anything we want to let folks know about DeFi and the tools that are out there as sort of closing words?
I don't know. I just think, have a look at those tools that I've showed before. I think they are incredible tools to kind of understand and learn so much about different projects. I'm personally constantly researching, writing notes about different type of projects, just to have a bit of a more wide base about crypto in itself and seeing how it evolves. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down below and everything else. And of course, more than welcome to contact me for any questions as well. And I'm sure Chase as well would be happy to answer those things as well.
Absolutely. Last question I have for you, though. DeFi, is it really the future of finance, or are we in a bubble? It's like, ooh, that's a loaded, tough question, isn't it?
Have you ended the stream yet?
You know what? Let's end the stream and leave everybody on that cliffhanger. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next week, or I will. Rodrigo, I believe you'll be out, but we'll deal with all of that. We'll get everything lined up and announced as it happens. Rodrigo, thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, take care, man.